Hi, in this video I'm going to be comparing my two favourite rowers. Not two of my favourite rowers, these are my two favourite rowers. On my left, your right, is the Hydrow Pro, an amazing rowing machine. And on my right, your left, is NordicTrack's flagship rower, the RW900. Now, I could talk all day about these rowers, but I'm going to narrow this video down into the parts that I think are most relevant for those users looking for a connected home rower which has this specific content. And these are the outdoor rowing experiences that you see here. So by the end of this video, you will know which of these rowers is right for you. And I'm really excited to make this video. Let's get cracking. First of all, I'm gonna start with build quality, which is easy because it's a draw. They both seem to me to be exactly the same quality, a really high standard of fitness equipment. Next is the handle. Now, both of these handles on these machines are excellent. Let's look at the Hydrows first. Now, if I show you the profile, you can see that it's completely round. And although it's very comfortable, I'm gonna score it an 8 out of 10 because you can get a little bit slippy here if your hands are sweaty on this grip here. Whereas on the RW900, if we look at the profile here, it's a slightly different shape. I'm not sure how well that comes across, but it's much more comfortable as well. This has got a better grip to it. And as you get tired or your hands get sweaty, this one is certainly easier to hold on to. Now, when it comes to the seats, the winner here is the Hydrow. But there is a caveat here. If you look down here, if you're sort of got a little bit less mobility, or you're getting on a bit like I am, then it is a lot easier to get onto the RW900 seat just because it is just that fraction higher. So it makes it easier to get on and off of. But the Hydrow seat is more comfortable. So you've got this little cutout here for your tailbone, but you have got this bit here, which is like a little bit of a hump. I don't know if you can see it, which I find not quite as good as the RW900. So you've got the same cutout here, but if you're a guy, you know what I'm saying. There's a little bit of a chamfer here, a bit of a drop off, which makes it more comfortable to use at the front end than the Hydrow seat. But for overall comfort, especially on longer rows, then it's a 9 out of 10 for the Hydrow seat and an 8 out of 10 for the RW900. Now, the workouts here, as you can see, these guided workouts are absolutely fantastic. The next thing I want to talk about though is the foot plates. And I can see you glazing over, but they are quite different. Both excellent, but different. And I would say they're actually for different types of users. Let me show you. When it comes of ease of use, one thing I really like about the NordicTrack is it has Velcro straps. So that just makes it a lot easier to change position and change grip on your foot compared to this, especially if you've got multiple users. Both slide up and down, so you've got plenty of adjustment for height as well. The big difference though comes here, and that's with the width. I'm just going to measure here from the center to the center, and you can see that it's about, well, nearly 10 inches between the center of that foot plate and the center of that foot plate, so 25.5 centimeters. And if I put the tape measure in the same place here, you can see there's quite a difference. So that kind of like nearly 10 inches turns into what, 12.5 inches there? I live in the UK, so I'm not good with inches. Let's say 32 centimeters, 12.5 inches. And this is the reason why I think the pedals are for different types of users. So with the extra 3-inch width here, or nearly 8 centimeters, it is slightly like the seat coming off, chamfering off there. It's slightly more comfortable to use because your legs are slightly further apart, but it's not like a purist position. So I think if you're on a boat, if you're on a rowing lake, for instance, you jumped off a boat and got on a Hydrow, you would be very familiar with that position. As I'm more of a gym, I like picking things up and putting them down for no apparent reason. I'm a gym person, so having the foot plates that little bit further apart, that 3 inches further apart, does put it into more of like a lifter's position. So it feels more like a leg press or a deadlift position over a traditional rowing position. And I actually prefer the foot position on the RW900 over the Hydrow. Now, when it comes to tablets, this is an easy win for the NordicTrack. So you can see here, they both have good picture quality. You might be able to see that the one on the left has a higher contrast level, the brightness is better, and it's just a high quality picture overall. In addition to that, you can see that I'm actually looking slightly down at this screen. And with the RW900, I'm actually looking straight at the screen, and I think I prefer this angle. Both have off-equipment workouts such as yoga and strength training, Pilates, etc. And the Hydrow will turn this far. So if you're working off the rower, it kind of turns to here. However, with the NordicTrack, now this doesn't get moved very much, which is why it's stiff, but this will go 180 degrees in either direction, which makes it a lot more versatile when working out off the machine. And in addition to that, if you're picking up weights, this is actually a better height for weight training if you're doing a standing exercise. And this one is a better height if you're doing floor work, such as more yoga or Pilates type workouts. Just gonna get close in, just to see if I can show you this picture quality difference. So I don't know if you can see, it's a little bit round at the edges. There's a little bit more pixelation here. The image just feels sharper, and the guy's further away in the video, I know. Oh, here we are. So it just feels, to me, sharper, a slightly better image quality here. Now, unless like me, you're able to have rowers in your house or gym side by side, the difference may not be that noticeable. NordicTrack do have this 22-inch screen on a lot of their devices, such as their bikes and their treadmills and their ellipticals, I think, as well. So I feel like there's a lot more development in this tablet than this tablet. This one's slightly more laggy. It feels, if I was going to sum it up, I would say this tablet here feels a generation or two behind this one, but that doesn't make this a bad tablet. At this point, I want to mention that if you're thinking about buying either of these machines, then I'll put a link in the description. That will take you to the best price on NordicTrack and Hydrow's website, and it also helps support the channel, which is greatly appreciated, so thank you. With Hydrow, they've also given me a stackable discount code, which means whatever discounts on the Hydrow site, you can put a code in at checkout, which will give you an extra $50 off as well. Now, when it comes to the coaches or the athletes, as Hydrow call them, both have equally as good engagement, in my opinion. And I call this like the cupcake conundrum. So imagine I can bake the most amazing cupcakes, 10 out of 10 cupcakes, but I don't really have any charisma, I can't talk to people, and I don't know anything about social media. Compared to you, your cupcakes are 6, 7 out of 10. However, you're very charismatic, very charming, and know how to use the internet. Your business will do a lot better than my business. And what NordicTrack and Hydrow specialize in is picking people who are both technically excellent, people like Akil, who is superb, but he is also hilarious. And then I've forgotten this guy's name, I feel terrible. But this guy is fast becoming my favorite instructor. He's very, very good. He's rowed for England, he's been to the Olympics, but he's also a great storyteller, and the workouts pass really quickly when I'm with either of these guys, or most of the trainers on both platforms. Now, when it comes to workout quality, this is a really difficult one to score, and let me explain why. Hydrow have historically always been amazing when it comes to producing these on the water, outdoor live experience rows. I would say overall, they are the best at this. However, when I switched this machine on for the first time, I was presented with this series, and this contains 5 rows. And NordicTrack are, I would say, the best at cinematographic shooting. So they use a lot of drone footage. They also use a lot of really impressive cutaways like this one. Wow, when does that happen? So you get to see the scenery around the row, and they have a lot more camera angles. So my 5 most favorite rows are on this machine here, and it looks like they're producing, looks like NordicTrack and iFit are producing more rows of this standard. However, overall, I would say Hydrow's rows are consistently very good. If you're going on to this rower, for instance, it will take you 10, 20 seconds to pick a row. On this machine, it may take you a little bit longer because although I find this series better, they haven't quite got the volume at this level. I think it is coming though. Okay, so we're nearing the end. I feel like this is a long video. So when it comes to price, as in membership price, the rowers generally are about the same price. This is an easy win for the NordicTrack machine, the RW900, for the following 3 reasons. Now, the first is just like straightforward price. The Hydrow is $44 a month. Now that's whether you're in US dollars or pounds. Like Peloton, Hydrow just changed the sign in front of the number. So if you've got a Peloton, it will be 44 US dollars. But if you're in the UK, it will be 44 pounds, which is about $60 a month membership. And that's the same for Hydrow. So it's $44 or 44 pounds. Whereas with the NordicTrack, it's slightly cheaper at $38 a month for the membership. Or if you're in the UK, it's about £29 a month for the membership, which is about $38. So that seems a lot fairer to me. After all, this is just streamed content. So I can't see there's any extra cost really in delivering the content to the machines, no matter where you are in the world. Secondly, and probably most importantly, is that iFit, which is the software that runs on all NordicTrack and Proform equipment, regularly has sales. So by that I mean, in the last Black Friday sale in November, I was able to buy 2 years worth of iFit membership for a family of 5 for £408, which works out about £17 a month, which is exceptionally good value. And with Hydrow, it's just £44 a month. And lastly is variety of equipment. Hydrow, up until this point, have just made rowing machines. So your one membership will only cover your rowing machine, whereas my membership, my £408 membership for 2 years, so my £17 a month membership, let me show you what it's covering at the moment. Little behind the scenes here. So not only is it covering the rower, it's also covering me on this treadmill and this treadmill. And if I come out here now, I don't feel that these things are banished out here. This is my garage. I've got a Proform bike there, which you may or may not be able to see in the background. And I've also got a NordicTrack bike here as well. So the bikes will come back in. I just need to get rid of one of the treadmills, but that's for another video. So I've got 5 pieces of equipment on one membership. If I had a Hydrow and then I decided I wanted to get a connected fitness bike, say a NordicTrack S22i or a Peloton bike, I would then need to have an additional membership for that piece of equipment. So in conclusion, if you think that you're only going to be rowing and you've got more of that desire to have more of a purist experience, then I would still lean towards the Hydrow, because this machine has really stood the test of time and is an excellent rower. However, the 2024 version of this, the RW900, I mean, I just feel like it's equally as good and in some ways slightly better for me as a gym user. And it just makes it a much harder decision, especially because the membership on this, if you buy it in the sale as I mentioned, is a lot cheaper. And if you want to add more equipment from NordicTrack or Proform, for example, you're not going to need any additional memberships. One membership will cover all your devices. So at this level, and these are top tier, man. These are top tier rowers. Hopefully this video has given you enough information to decide you whether you should be leaning towards this, the RW900, or this, the Hydrow Pro. Well, I hope you found this video useful. As I mentioned, I'll put a link in the description that will take you to the best price on both websites and will give you an additional discount on the Hydrow Pro as well, or any Hydrow for that matter. And until next time, see you soon.